Welcome back to the Racing Mind video series, where we journey deeper into the human mind than anyone has ever gone before. In this video series, we untangle the ancient mystery of mental illness and teach you what you need to know before your racing mind gets the best of you. This groundbreaking series provides answers to some of the deepest mysteries of the human mind and reveals, for the first time in history, the precise cause of mental and emotional illness and the psychophysiological basis of a wide range of psychiatric disorders and associated medical conditions. These educational videos, which present concepts that are so new that they are just beginning to make their way through the medical field, are based on thousands of hours of direct patient analysis and clinical observation in conjunction with the latest research on psychiatric disorders from around the world. In this segment of the series, we will discuss the risks and benefits of cannabis and its derivatives in relation to neuronal hyperexcitability and psychiatric disorders. This ancient flowering plant from the family Cannabaceae is taking the world by storm. Over the past decade, sales of cannabis-based products have skyrocketed, placing them among the top 3 of all industries and goods, topped only by alcohol and cigarettes. In addition to being medicalized and legalized, cannabis-based products are now being sold as edibles, tinctures, vapes, drops, balms, salves, and inhalers. Best known for its use as the recreational drug marijuana, the cannabis plant has been used medicinally since ancient times for such ailments as nausea, abdominal pain, body ache, and intestinal parasites. Actually, these uses were primarily derived from hemp, a cannabis extract with relatively low concentrations of tetrahydrocannabinol, THC, the chemical responsible for marijuana's mind-altering effects. In recent years, however, there has been a renewed interest in marijuana's physical, emotional, and psychological effects. Hence the interest in obtaining cannabis extracts with varying concentrations of THC and the legalization of cannabinoids for medicinal purposes. In the 1940s, there was a similar wave of excitement with alcohol, a recreational drug that was referred to as, quotes, the best medicine in the world. Like cannabis, alcohol had been used medicinally since ancient times and eventually became legal by prescription. Just 10 years later, another wonder drug, chlordiazepoxide, better known as Librium, was serendipitously discovered and greeted with excitement by the medical profession and the public. Like marijuana and alcohol, Librium and its derivatives were prescribed and continue to be prescribed for a variety of ailments, including anxiety, insomnia, and alcohol withdrawal. All 3 of these wonder drugs work by the same mechanism. They quiet the brain. In the case of marijuana, the primary brain calming constituent is cannabidiol, better known as CBD. According to the multi-circuit neuronal hyperexcitability hypothesis of psychiatric disorders, CBD exerts its anti-epileptic, anti-anxiety, antidepressant, mood stabilizing, analgesic, and sedative effects by reducing the excitability of neurons. Understanding the mechanism by which marijuana exerts its psychotropic effects is crucial because CBD and THC have opposing effects. CBD quiets the brain, whereas THC stimulates the brain. These differential effects explain why different strains of cannabis, which harbor different concentrations of THC, have different emotional, psychological, and physical effects. For example, a strain that has a very low concentration of THC may be so calming that it could put the user to sleep, whereas a strain that has a very high concentration of THC may be so stimulating that it could cause panic attacks, insomnia, or even full-blown psychosis. This risk is even greater with synthetic cannabis because it further amplifies the stimulating effects of THC. The persons who are the most sensitive to these divergent effects are those who inherit the genes for neuronal hyperexcitability. The reason that sales for cannabinoids are skyrocketing is that nearly half the population has some degree of neuronal hyperexcitability. Some of these persons are seeking the stimulating effects of THC, Others are seeking the calming effects of CBD, and still others are looking for the right combination of the two, not realizing that any stimulation of the brain adds fuel to the underlying problem of neuronal hyperexcitability. Though CBD in the absence of THC does help regulate the firing of neurons, its short duration of action, low potency, and potential for diminishing effects over time place it low on the list of suggested neuroregulators. Much higher on the list are pharmaceutical-grade neuroregulators, such as gabapentin, oxcarbazepine, lamotrigine, and others, all of which are relatively safe, non-addicting, more potent, longer acting, and more continuously effective than CBD. The reason that these highly effective neuroregulators have been so underutilized in the treatment of anxiety, depression, and other psychiatric disorders is that the pathophysiology of these disorders has heretofore remained unclear. However, the excitement generated by cannabinoids, like that which was generated by alcohol and benzodiazepines in the not-so-distant past, bears witness to the idea that virtually all psychiatric disorders and their functional comorbidities are rooted in a hyperexcitability of the neurological system. The hyperexcitable brain abnormally amplifies every signal that it receives from the mind and the body, the result of which is that even moderately stressful events in life can feel overwhelming. Affected individuals inherently know that they need to quiet their brains, thus explaining why alcohol, marijuana, and benzodiazepines continue to be the most commonly used and abused drugs. The comprehensive management of the hyperexcitable brain requires more than one particular drug or another. It requires a holistic approach that includes stress reduction, establishment of an early sleep schedule, regular exercise, enjoying a relaxing hobby, avoiding caffeine and other psychostimulants, and minimizing refined sugar. If these interventions are either too difficult to implement or fail to adequately compensate for the underlying gene abnormality, then treatment with neuroregulators and other brain calming medications may be necessary, particularly during high-stress periods in the person's life. In addition, cognitive behavioral and other forms of psychotherapy may be needed to reduce the mental tension that adds fuel to the smoldering embers in the hyperexcitable brain. Control your brain, control your life. We hope that you are benefiting from this video series. Portions of the video and others in this series were taken from the books The Racing Mind and Am I Depressed or Am I Bipolar? Those interested in developing a deeper understanding of the topic can also refer to the scientific publication The Multi-Circuit Neuronal Hyperexcitability Hypothesis of Psychiatric Disorders. Please note that these materials in this video series are for educational purposes only and are not intended to guide treatment without formal evaluation. This video series is sponsored by the Binder Foundation, a charitable organization that is dedicated to the enhancement of human life through research and education on disorders of the mind, body, and spirit. If you have found this video to be a benefit to you, please share it with your family and friends. And please don't forget, your feedback is important to us.